How are you finding being top of your game in the armed services whilst sometimes forgetting what you've walked in the room for?
It's really difficult when you're put on the spot and you're maybe making a presentation and all of a sudden your thread has gone, and maybe as well you're starting to get quite warm and you're starting to get quite sweaty and your top lip is going, and people look at you saying, she must have flu or something. Because not everyone's read into the fact that we're of a certain age. And we have
I think even if they do, they then sort of do that head-cocked thing of going, oh, she's got the menopause, like it's an illness.
She's just old. I've personally gone through a real mental torture, actually, at times, of thinking, you know, what is this that's wrong with me? You know, am I getting dementia? Am I just going mad? You know, am I just not good at my job anymore? And actually it took, you know, going to see a great doctor who said, no, it's none of those things.
For me, it was completely unexpected. I didn't know what was going on with me. I couldn't figure it out. I was trying to do a job. It just, none of it was lining up.
What were the flags?
For me, the brain fog, definitely one, and like it triggered all sorts of other stuff in me as well. The anxiety.
The anxiety is huge.
Oh, it's crippling.
Yeah.
I've
Horrible.
never had anxiety as an adult since my early 20s.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I'm having these overwhelming, like pull the car over panic attacks. And then crying afterwards and feeling utterly drained, like I'd been through a bit of an episode.
The menopause has robbed me of my superpower. So my main skill that I had in my career as a communications officer, I could go into a meeting, go into a media meeting, and I can literally come up with a whole load of ideas, drop of a hat. I can't do it anymore. Tumbleweed goes by, Magic Roundabout theme tune plays in my head, and I've lost that ability. I am no longer the communications officer I used to be, so I have found a new superpower, and I've reframed it to Leslie 2.0. So I've stopped beating myself up for not being the Leslie of 3 years ago. My mum kind of said, well, you know, we just got on with it and we just got through it, and you know, it wasn't really a thing.
I started a programme of re-educating my senior bosses, and getting them to actually say the word menopause is really, really difficult.
It's like trying to make a boy say vagina.
really, really difficult. But then when they started to say it, and one commander said to me, Paula, sit down and tell me about this because I don't understand it. And now when I go into meetings with that individual, and it'll be a big room of people, he will see me very slowly start to go red, and he instinctively knows to switch the aircon on. And it is the most subtle of actions.
And listen, nobody wants an angry menopausal woman on their hands.
In uniform. Angry menopausal woman
uniform is even worse!
On the case.
Terrifying.
We can be. For me, at least, and probably a lot of other women, when you put your uniform on, it allows you to perhaps be an enhanced version of yourself. It feels like, you know, it's a point of pride to pull it on. Yeah. This identity that I've had for so long, you know, 20 plus years for most of us, suddenly just becomes really shaky, and that's how it's so easily equated to being deployed on operations. You don't know what's going to happen that day. Yeah. It's the same type of feeling of being on edge all the time and just having this heightened sense of, I don't know what's going to happen next. The 2 or 3 times in Afghanistan where I kind of thought I was going to die, I kind of sort of put it on a par with that. How I felt in those moments is sometimes how I have felt on this menopause journey.
What do you do in those moments? How do you manage your way through that? Especially as somebody that manages others. How do you manage yourself?
For me, do you know what I do? I look in the mirror and I just kind of go, come on.
Pull yourself together.
You can do this. You know, you haven't got these out of a cereal packet. You've got them because you deserve them.
Can you understand why women stop applying for promotions at this stage of their life?
Absolutely, yeah.
Isn't that a travesty?
Well, and not just that, leave the service.
Yeah, I know.
Because they think
that experience
me.
is gone.
You said it, my time's done.
My time's done. That I genuinely felt that 2 years ago. I thought, I need to bang out now because I've got nothing left to offer. I'm 2 people, I'm 2 personalities, and my senior command chain don't get it. I need to leave, and gracefully as I can. My time is done, and I hate that.
For me, as a communications person, I want to educate these really young physical training instructors that when they're 23 and they're male, they don't shout at me to run a bit faster because it's like, it's just not happening.
I don't think they're the only people that need to be educated, though. I think it needs to be the hierarchy, it needs to be the bosses, it needs to be, and it needs to come from the top. We educate everybody about every other aspect that's hitting. This needs to be one of the topics of conversation.
We're starting to have webinars, which are really good. The last one I dialed into, just under 400 people, of which I would say 10% were men. It was advertised generally in the armed forces, and I logged in.
Are we pleased with 10%?
Well, it's a start, I
It's a
think.
start.
It's a
And
start.
they were quite senior officers as well who wanted to understand.
Okay, that's good.
So I was really pleased. And it wasn't the fact that we had a professor of gynecology and menopause talking to us on the webinar. It was the chat that was just ticker-taping round and round.
We've got to be sincere leaders. I don't think it hurts anymore to show the people that we're leading that actually we are going through stuff.
Vulnerability.
Whereas 10 years ago or 15 years ago or more, you would be petrified of somebody catching you crying maybe. A junior member of my staff caught me crying a couple of months ago. And at first I thought, oh my God, this is awful. And I thought, no, you know what? And I just said to him, look, I'm just having a really bad day. Just having a really crap day. And he said, it's good to know that you have crap days as well, because I do too.
Yeah.
And then that was it, and there was no further talk about
It's
it.
a really
We're
important
human, aren't we?
Yeah.
We are allowed to be vulnerable. I've learned this.
I missed the person I was.
Yes.
I missed that level of confidence, and I really want it to come back. And I do get glimpses of like, oh, I don't feel like myself today, and you're a little bit more productive, and you've got a little bit of motivation. But I miss the person I was, and I think, am I ever going to get back to even a little shadow of it full time? Would be good.
I know I've had a pretty rubbish time of it, and I try to normalise it by punctuating the conversation with jokes. But actually, as much as we've laughed today, we've talked about some really, considering we'd never met before, I think we've shared some pretty significant moments. And I will go away today feeling really helped by this, and I hope you do too.
No, definitely.
If you have a position of any sort of power or platform, as they call it, should use it really, just to make it easier for whoever's coming up behind you. It might not make our experience necessarily any easier, although I say that, I think it does. Just this alone I find really helpful. But I do think that we owe it to the other women that have got to walk behind us, that travel in our slipstream, to make them feel less bewildered, less overwhelmed, more heard, more seen,
Yes.
and more understood.